Alien mother burned her clothes to keep her child warm. No clothes, no hope, until a human found them. The wind howled through the half-collapsed shelters on the outskirts of the mining colony. Most had long been abandoned, their windows shattered, their walls stripped for scrap. Only the desperate remained here, aliens and humans alike, those who had nothing left to lose. Nira pressed her thin, trembling arms around her small son. His skin, normally glowing with the faint bioluminescence of her kind, had dulled to a sickly gray. His breaths came shallow, each one like a knife in her chest. The night was mercilessly cold. They had no heating, no blankets, no fuel left to burn. She had already used the last scraps of wood and trash to keep a fire alive the previous night. Now, as the temperature dropped further, she had only one choice. She stripped the woven garments from her own body, leaving only a ragged underlayer clinging to her. One by one, she fed her clothes into the tiny fire. The flames sputtered, then flared, filling the room with a faint warmth. Her son whimpered, curling closer to her. "Sleep, my starling," Nira whispered, rocking him. "I'll keep you warm." But her teeth chattered, her lips cracked from the cold. She could not last much longer. She thought of the mines where she had once worked before the humans had taken control. She thought of the beating she received when she tried to beg for better rations. She thought of her people, scattered, sold, or dead. Only her son kept her fighting. If she had to burn every scrap she owned, even herself, she would. The fire died quickly. Her body was bare now, goose flesh prickling, and despair rose like a tide. She clutched her son, tears freezing on her cheeks. And then footsteps. Nira's ears perked. She shrank back, shielding her child. The door to the ruined shelter groaned open. A tall figure stepped inside, silhouetted against the pale moonlight. A human. Nira's heart pounded. Humans meant danger. They had stripped her people of everything, taken the mines, enslaved the workers. She pulled her son tighter, expecting cruelty. But the man froze when he saw them. His eyes widened, his breath caught. He looked at her thin, shaking body, the bare skin covered in goosebumps, the child shivering in her arms. "God," he whispered. He took a cautious step closer. Nira hissed, baring her teeth in warning. "Stay back." "I'm not here to hurt you," the man said quickly, his voice low, gentle.
"Please.
I was scavenging. I didn't expect." He stopped, seeing the boy's pale lips. "He won't last the night." Nira's arms tightened protectively. "I will save him." "With what?" the man asked softly. "You've already burned everything." Her silence was answer enough. The human sighed and pulled off his thick coat. He approached slowly, carefully laying it on the ground near her without trying to touch.
"Take it."
"Wrap him in it." Nira blinked in shock. Kindness from a human? She looked from the coat to his face. He seemed earnest, his eyes full of something she hadn't seen in a long time. Concern. Hesitantly, she reached out, grabbed the coat, and wrapped her child in it. The boy stirred, sighing softly as warmth embraced him for the first time in days. Nira's throat tightened. "You need warmth too," the human murmured. He stripped off his scarf, gently offering it. "Here." She stared, torn between suspicion and desperate need. Finally, pride gave way to survival. She draped it around herself, covering what she could. The human crouched across from her, keeping his distance. "My name's Daniel. I don't work with the enforcers. I'm just a mechanic. I was out here looking for salvage." Nira's voice was barely audible. "Why help me?" Daniel hesitated, looking down. "Because no one else would. And because I've lost someone too. I know what it's like to watch someone slip away and feel powerless. I won't stand by if I can stop it. Her eyes stung, though no tears came. They had all frozen before they could fall. Daniel stood. Come with me. My workshop's not far. I've got a heater, food, it's not much, but it's something. Nira flinched. A trap. No trap. He raised his hands. If I wanted to hurt you, I wouldn't have given you my coat. Her son whimpered again, his body twitching in her arms. Nira's decision tore at her chest, but the choice was clear. Staying meant death. She nodded once slowly. Daniel gave a small smile. All right, stay close. The walk was brutal. Cold gnawed at Nira's bare skin. The child whimpered softly, half asleep. Daniel walked ahead, occasionally glancing back to make sure they followed. When they reached the workshop, he quickly ushered them inside. The difference was immediate. The room was warmer, lit by a humming heater. Tools and broken machinery cluttered the space, but it was safe, sheltered. Sit, Daniel urged, bringing a blanket from his cot. He draped it gently around Nira and her child. She nearly collapsed into it, her body shaking violently as warmth finally began to seep back in. Daniel fetched a steaming cup of broth from a pot on a hot plate.
Here.
Drink. She sniffed it suspiciously, then let her son sip first. He swallowed weakly, then whimpered for more. She gave it to him, watching his color return ever so slightly. Only then did she sip herself, the heat spreading through her frozen core. For the first time in days, she exhaled without fear. Daniel sat across from them, watching silently. He looked exhausted himself, as though carrying his own burdens. You don't have to trust me, he said at last. But stay here tonight.
Get warm.
Tomorrow, if you want to leave, I won't stop you. Nira stared at him, struggling to understand. Humans had always meant suffering. Yet here was one who gave without asking, who clothed her, fed her, saved her son. Her voice cracked.
Why?
Why us? Daniel's eyes softened. Because no mother should have to burn her own clothes to keep her child alive. The days that followed blurred together. Daniel repaired a small cot for the child, fixed scraps of clothing for Nira, and shared his food despite his own hunger. Slowly, her suspicion gave way to something unfamiliar. Hope. Her son laughed again for the first time, playing with Daniel's tools while the mechanic pretended to scold him. Nira found herself smiling, though it hurt, because she had thought she'd never smile again. One night, as the heater hummed, Daniel spoke quietly. The enforcers, they don't care about people like us. Human or alien. We're just tools to them. But if we stick together, maybe we stand a chance. Nira met his gaze. She saw not an enemy, but a man as lost and broken as she was. Yet together, perhaps, they could build something whole. She reached across the table, resting her trembling hand over his. Thank you for finding us. Daniel squeezed her hand gently, his eyes shining with quiet resolve.
No, Nira.
Thank you for letting me help. And for the first time since the world had burned, Nira believed her child might have a future.